All right, thanks, guys. The Clippers take on the Hornets. That's going to be a 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Charlotte. Now, the Hornets are 5-0 straight up in their last 5 at home, 7-2 against the spread in their last 9 in Charlotte. So doing a very good job on their home court as of late. That said, there is no line for this particular game right now. That line should be released at roughly 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, Clippers at the Hornets, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Charlotte. No line for that game. If I had to lean toward a side, I would say Charlotte probably gets the job done in this matchup here. All right, next game, it is going to be, it looks like the Lakers at the Pacers. That's going to be a 7 o'clock tip-off in Indiana. The Lakers are -3, totals at 217. 63% are leaning Lakers, 72% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Pacers are plus 145 for some money line cash. Now, the Pacers are 2-0 straight up in their last couple of games. Their defense gave up just 97 points on average in those two victories. Meanwhile, on the Lakers side of things, Lonzo Ball still out with an injury, and Hart questionable with a knee as well. The Lakers ranked dead last from the foul line in the association. They also ranked 26th in defensive rebounding. Now, when it comes to the scoring, the Lakers are 80% to the under in their last 5, 3-0 to the under in their trio of ball games played at the current posted total. Meanwhile, the Pacers are 4-0 to the under in their last 4 games themselves, 80% to the under in their last 10. So with all that in mind, I'm going to lean Indiana +3, getting the job done at home, in the under 217 in that matchup there. And with all that said and done, I just want to take a quick timeout and just to welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Tuesday's NBA action. But before we go ahead and slide into some more of that, I just want to quickly remind you to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. And with a documented record of 8-1 in my last 9 picks on that website, you're certainly costing yourself some valuable information each and every day you're not subscribed. Now, memberships begin at just $1.99 per month. There's also plenty of free content there as well. So once again, please feel free to just hit that pause button right now, open up your browser, and just type in patreon.com/BrockPage. It'll only take you a couple of seconds. The link is in the description section below. And if you are a current patron of mine and you are currently watching me right now, I simply cannot thank you enough. You most certainly make it all worth it. With all that said and done, let's go ahead and hop right back into some more lines and personal leans. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got Celtics at the Cavaliers. That's going to be a 7 o'clock tip-off in Cleveland. Boston opened 12, up to -12.5. Totals 214 and a hook. 71% are leaning Boston, 70% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Cavs are plus 750 for some money line cash. Now, Boston has Kyrie Irving and Baines both out for tonight's action. Boston also failed to cover in 5 out of their last 6 away from home. The Celtics are covering just 37% of their games as the official road favorite. Now, when it comes to scoring, Cleveland is 2-0 to the over, taking on Boston this season. So with all that in mind, I'm going to purchase the half a point, buy it up, and take Cleveland plus 13 in the over 214.5 in that matchup there. Next game, Pistons at the Knicks. That's going to be a 7:30 tip-off in New York. Detroit opened the betting as the 2.5-point favorite, and the total at 205. And since this one opened up, we've seen steady movement when it comes to the number and the total. Right now, Detroit's -3.5 with the total moving upward to 206 and a hook. So once again, Pittsburgh. Wow, this is really distracting. The screen moving, so I'm just gonna pause it real quick and then get back to the action. I apologize about that. Throwing me off. Okay, let's get back to it. All right, and we are at the Pistons at the Knicks. Detroit opened 2.5 up to -3.5. Total open 205 up to 206 and a hook. 73% are leaning Detroit, 79% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Knicks are plus 155 on the money line. Now, Detroit's 2-1 straight up in their last 3. No reported injuries for the Pistons. They're giving up just, they're ranked 9th in points allowed on the defensive side of things. They also rank first in defending the three ball and 10th in defensive rebounding. Now, New York, on the other side, they traded their whole team away. They're also on a 13-game skid, 0-13 straight up in their last 13 games. Now, scoring-wise, New York's defense is allowing 115 points per contest. Meanwhile, Detroit's 3-2 to the over in their last 5. So with all that in mind, I'm going to purchase the half a point, slide it down, take Detroit -3 in the over 206.5 in that matchup there. All right, next game, Magic Thunder. 8 o'clock tip-off at OKC. The Thunder are -9.5. Total open 224.5 down to 224 even. 64% are leaning OKC, 72% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Magic are +410 on the money line. Now, OKC 7-1 straight up in their last 8, 6-2 against the spread in that same category. The Thunder rank 5th in scoring, 3rd in offensive rebounding, and they're covering 62% of their games, taking on teams under 450. Now, Orlando, on their side of things, they've dropped 7 out of their last 10 straight up. They also have Simmons and Mo Bamba questionable for tonight's action. Now, scoring-wise, Orlando's 80% to the under in their last 5. Give me OKC -9 after buying the hook and the under 224 in that matchup there. Next game, Timberwolves, Grizzlies, 8 o'clock tip-off in Memphis. Now, we've had a flip of the line in this one. Memphis open +1.5 up to -1. The Grizzlies, once again, -1 after opening up as the dog. Totals at 203.5. 60% are leaning Minnesota, 66% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Timberwolves are -105 for some money line cash. Now, Memphis is just 2-8 straight up in their last 10, 3-10 against the spread in their last 13 on their home court. The Grizzlies have Caspi, Temple, Parsons, and Brooks all out for tonight's action. Brooks actually out for the season. And then when it comes to some other players, we have Noah, Anderson, and Green all questionable for tonight's action as well. So that's looks like 7 people on the injury report right now. Meanwhile, on the Minnesota side, they're 4-3 straight up in their last 7, 7-5 against the spread, taking on teams under 450. Minnesota has also successfully covered the number in 4 out of their last 5 on the road, and they rank 6th in free throw percentage from the stripe. Now, scoring-wise, Minnesota's 8-3 to the over in their last 11 on the road. This Minnesota defense is allowing 114 points per contest. So with all that in mind, I'm going to lean toward Minnesota +1 and the over 203.5 in that matchup there. Next game, Raptors, Sixers, 8 o'clock tip-off in South Philly. The Sixers are -4.5. Total open 229 down to 228. 52% are leaning Philly, 69% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Raptors are +165 for some money line cash. Now, if you like the Raptors in this one, just keep in mind we have Lowry and Valanciunas both doubtful for tonight's action. They've also failed to cover in 10 out of their last dozen on the road. Philly, on the other side, is 21-5 straight up at home. They're also 7-3 straight up in their last 10. The Sixers rank 2nd in home offensive scoring and 3rd in home offensive rebounding. Now, scoring-wise, Philly 6-2 to the under in their last 8. Toronto 75% to the under in their last 8 themselves. Give me the Sixers -4 and the under 228 in that matchup there. Next and final game for the show, it is going to be Heat at the Blazers, 10:30 tip-off in Portland. The Blazers are -7.5, totals 213. 72% are leaning Portland, 77% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Heat are +265 for some money line cash. Now, Portland's 6-1 against the spread in their last 7, 5-0 ATS in their last 5 at home. Miami has Dragic and Jones both out indefinitely, will not be playing tonight. Miami also failed to cover in 5 out of their last 6, and they rank 28th in field goal percentage. Give me Portland -7 after buying the half a point in the over 212 in that matchup there. All right, let's slide into some college basketball, beginning with Michigan State at Illinois. That's going to be a 7 o'clock tip-off at Illinois. Michigan State's -10. Total open 148.5 down to 147. 60% are leaning Sparty, 58% shaded toward the under. Now, the Fighting Illini have successfully covered the number in 2 out of their last 3.